Ah, nobody told Dan. Do you know the Super Bowl was yesterday? Just messing with you. Should have sent out a text alert to the entire township. Wait, are you a Chiefs fan? We're only allowed in tonight if you wear green. It doesn't matter. I don't care. That's not the message either. I was gonna. I don't want. You want that? Is it on the back? Hi, Tony. How does this? We're good. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Tonight is the Uwchlan Township Board of Supervisors February meeting. Just a notice that this meeting is being recorded online. If you could all stand to recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Before we begin tonight, I just wanted to go over a couple housekeeping items. I want to draw your attention to the rules for public participation on the back of this evening's agenda, just to highlight a few points of that policy. When it comes time for public comment, the conclusion of tonight's meeting, speakers should sign up for, is there a sign-up sheet at the back? There's a sign-up sheet at the back if you want to sign up now to put your name on it. We will read those names at the conclusion of the meeting to hear public comment. When you're called up, speakers must identify themselves by name and street name. A business or an organization is encouraged to designate one person to present comments on its behalf. The speaker must direct all comments to the Board of Supervisors and not to township staff. Each speaker recognized by the board chair will be given 3 minutes to comment during the public comment period. No official board action will be taken on items presented during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. Items may be referred to township staff and/or the appropriate working group or committee for further research and discussion. Matters addressed publicly to the board will be taken under advisement, and either the board will respond to the person raising the issue directly at a later date, or the board will respond to the items during a future public meeting as an agenda item. The board need not engage in discussion on comments offered. Speakers should limit repetitious comments and, when appropriate, acknowledge agreement with the previous speaker's comment or position. While the public has the right to make critical remarks, the public does not have the right to disrupt the meeting. In cases of serious disruption, the board will adjourn the meeting and take other such action to resolve the disruption as appropriate under the circumstances. With that being said, we'll go ahead and ask if there is a motion for the approval of the minutes of the January 13th, 2025 meeting and the February 3rd, 2025 workshop meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any board question or comment?
Nope.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. I also want to note on the record that the board held executive session on February 5th to discuss personnel and on February 10th to discuss legal matters. We'll move into our reports this evening. First up, we have the police report. Chief Alexander.
Thank you and good evening. For the month of January 2025, the Uwchlan Township Police Department officers documented 1,199 entries in the police department call reporting system. During the reporting period, the officers issued 155 traffic citations. They investigated 29 motor vehicle crashes, and they arrested 31 individuals. Additionally, for the month of January, the department members conducted 2 motor carrier details at the weigh station, resulting in 712 commercial motor vehicles being weighed, 4 of which were found to be overweight. During the details, the officers also performed 17 inspections, requiring 6 vehicles to be placed out of service. During any one of these details, the officers were assisted by members of the Pennsylvania State Police or the Westchester Borough Police Department. Officers Lanchi and Scott also conducted commercial vehicle inspections during their normal working hours, resulting in 1 driver and 1 vehicle being placed out of service.
Thank you, Chief. Treasurer's report.
I'm going to do my best impersonation of Sue.
Good luck.
Revenues collected were about 4.5% of the budget so far, and expenditures about 6% of the budget. And preliminarily, it looks like 2024 ended with about $250,000 added to fund balance.
Thank you. Public Works report.
For the month of January, the daily average floated Downingtown treatment plant was 1.28 million gallons per day. There were no new connections for Dara or Eagleview. The township received 0.46 inches of rain, which is below the average 3.1. Year to date, we've received 0.46 inches, which is 2.64 inches below the average. There were 87 PA1 calls. All pump stations were operating normally. We're still working on the final means and methods for the Route 100 trunk line repair, but we have submitted a traffic plan to PennDOT. The Public Works Department did an outstanding job with the winter weather events, and February is shaping up to be a fairly active month as well. The team is being a bit more judicious with salt application as we're waiting on replenishment deliveries. We're expecting about 225 tons tomorrow, which is about 1 storm's worth, and we're awaiting about 400 tons more to be delivered.
Thank you. Fire Marshal's report.
Yes, for the month of January, the building department issued 87 permits for construction activities, conducted 76 construction inspections, 32 fire inspections were completed, 25 use and occupancy certificates were issued, and the fire marshal responded to 24 incidents during working hours and conducted no burning complaint investigations.
Thank you. Lineville Fire Company.
For the month of January, the fire company responded to 66 incidents, with 47 of them in Uwchlan, 7 in Upper Uwchlan, 3 in West Pikeland, and 9 in other municipalities.
Thank you. And is there anyone here this evening from Uwchlan Ambulance? Okay. Is there a motion to accept the reports as read?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any board question or comment?
Nope.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving along to tonight's business agenda. Number 1, appointment to Human Relations Committee. Mr. Kegel.
We're recommending the appointment of Stephanie Rafinski for a term ending 12/31/2028.
Okay, is there a motion for the appointment of Stephanie Rubinski to the Human Relations Committee?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any board questions or comment?
No.
Nope. I'll just, again, thank all of our volunteers that serve on our committees. Excited to fill some of these vacancies and appreciative of the time that they put into our community. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Number 2, permission to advertise 4-way stop sign ordinance for Glendale Road and Allen Drive.
We're requesting permission to advertise an ordinance establishing a 4-way stop at the intersection of Glendale Road and Allen Drive. This is currently a 2-way stop. We received a resident complaint, conducted a traffic study, and found the sight distance of the intersection insufficient. So the recommendation is to make this intersection a 4-way stop sign. The ordinance would be advertised for consideration at the March board meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion for permission to advertise the 4-way stop sign ordinance for Glendale Road and Allen Drive?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any board question or comment?
Yep.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 3, permission to advertise repeal of Chapter 7 Ambulance Services Ordinance.
We're requesting permission to advertise an ordinance repealing Chapter 7 ambulance services. This chapter deals specifically with the ability of Uwchlan Ambulance to bill for non-emergency responses. In speaking with Uwchlan Ambulance, they were unaware the ordinance was in place and do not see a need for the ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to advertise the repeal of Chapter 7 Ambulance Services Ordinance.
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any board question or comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 4, ordinance number 2025-02, speed limit for Sheree Boulevard. Mr. Solicitor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is an ordinance on on the speed limit for Sheree Boulevard. There are, and it's related specifically to the part of Sheree Boulevard between Eagle View and East Uwchlan Avenue, setting a speed limit of 30 miles per hour. There are 4 board exhibits. Board Exhibit 1 is the proposed ordinance, which is 2025-02. Board Exhibit 2 is the notice of hearing to the Daily Local. Board Exhibit 3 is the proof of publication on January 31st, 2025. And Board Exhibit 4 is the certification of posting. So if the board is so inclined, it can make a motion to approve the ordinance.
I'll move to approve the ordinance 2025-02, establishing a speed limit for Sheree Boulevard.
I'll second that.
Is there any board question or comment? No. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving along to number 5, presentation on Shamona Peck nature play. Good evening.
I'm in third call is on planning. Been working with a township steering committee on the Shamona Peck Park nature play system since we began work in August of 2023. We did site analysis and put some concepts together and reviewed this in a public meeting that was very engaged and encouraging. We got a lot of positive feedback and also some suggestions that we incorporated. The committee that we worked with was comprised of representatives, Board of Supervisors, Planning Commission, EAC, and Parks and Rec, and also public township staff. So I think we got a lot of opinions from within the township and also within the citizens. We went ahead and we could advance a couple slides. I don't know the concept I have up here, which showed all the nature play elements, and if we could go forward. Well, actually, the concept plan I think shows best what we're doing. So if we go back, there we go. So we did a site development plan that shows details of all sorts of improvements for the park that include an unimproved surface nature play system that incorporates an existing trail that's mostly used for maintenance along a sewer line that parallels the spring run. We have elements in there made of natural pieces of wood and other things for people to climb on, balance, and it's mostly for younger children. Also, we'll have an elevated tree house and observation area near the spring run that we think will be very compelling, and also a historically referential replica of a bank. Now, it won't be stone, but it will mimic the bank barns that you see around the areas. All this will be tied together by a natural surface trail that runs down from the parking lot near the baseball field through the wetland and with the wetland crossing, and then with a couple bridges that'll connect this site to Shamona, Maine, and also across the spring run to the Uwchlan Trail. So I think that this will be well integrated with your other elements of your park system, I think it'll be a big improvement. Some of the natural elements that we are incorporating include a habitat meadow area of native wildflowers and native warm season grasses. So instead of the mowed lawn area between the parking area and the T-ball field, that'll be more of a natural area for insect and bird habitat. And then the other main planted element is an edible landscape in the vicinity of the bank barn, to be evocative of the agrarian heritage of the area. So it'll be all sorts of perennial edible plants. We'll have to protect them from deer, obviously. And, so that's the concept. We put this plan together and then presented it to both the EAC and Parks and Rec in November. And we received a lot of positive response there and also some constructive suggestions. So we went to the Planning Commission last week and they moved that that the township go ahead with pursuing grants on this. And I see that's on your agenda for tonight, one of the grants. So I hope I gave you enough background. If not, I'm open to questions.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I just want to thank Ed and his team for putting this proposal together and also the time from the input of the public, the staff, our oh my gosh, our committee. Yeah.
Volunteers.
It was called a task force.
Oh.
Yeah. But a lot of time and effort was put into creating this plan. And I'm very excited for this amenity to be added to our township because it's shown that spending time outdoors just improves your psychological well-being. And when kids in particular spend time outdoors at a young age, they learn cooperation skills, independence. It's great for their social, emotional learning. And they also learn to appreciate the outdoors and nature at an early age that can turn into a lifelong commitment and stewardship to our environment. So I think it's a really great amenity and I'm excited to see it go forward.
I have one question. You had mentioned this was specific to younger people. How young do you have to be to get involved with this park? Because I'm very excited about it.
Nobody older than 7 or 8. No, I think shoot for everybody, but we tried to design the elements so that the children from a very young age would find activities that they can do. So one of the elements up near the parking area, in fact, will be a tot lot, which will have scaled down versions of the same sorts of nature play systems that occur along the trail, which might be more geared towards like elementary school age kids or up to middle school. And I think that some of the elements would even be compelling to adults. Like I think the treehouse overlooking.
No, I'm going to find you in a treehouse.
I'm actually looking forward to exploring.
Yes.
So
No, I appreciate the design that went into this, and certainly I don't notice anything about it that wouldn't be appropriate for entire families. I asked because I'm excited to go and play at it. And I'm just excited to see that some of the things we had pointed out in our last comprehensive plan, such as integrating nature play into our park spaces, is coming to fruition. So I applaud everyone that was involved in this, and I cannot wait to see it be completed. Any questions? Are there any public questions or comments? No. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Therakoff. Should we just,
service.
yeah, thank you. We can roll right into number 6, which is resolution number 2025-10, approving an application for Chester County Municipal Grant Program Assistance for Shamona Peck Nature Play.
This resolution authorizes us to apply for a county park grant to help fund the construction of Shamona Peck Nature Play. We'll apply for $164,000, which is 50% of the estimated construction costs. We're also applying for a DCNR grant, which also requires a 50% match. So the two grants, if awarded, would work together, allowing us to build the park improvement at no cost or very little cost to the township. Also mentioned that we previously applied for a local share account in the amount of $328,000, and that has no match, and we're waiting to hear on the results of that.
Wonderful. Is there a motion for resolution number 2025-10, approval of an application for Chester County Municipal Grant Program Assistance for Shamona Peck Nature Play?
So moved.
Second.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 7, resolution number 2025-11, creation of a pension investment committee.
This resolution establishes a pension investment committee made up of the township treasurer, township manager, and a member of the Uwchlan Police Association. The committee will act as an advisory body to the Board of Supervisors, who are ultimately the decision makers when it comes to both the uniformed and non-uniformed pension plans. The Board of Supervisors will also be ex officio members of the committee. The committee will monitor the performance of investments, review and recommend updates to the investment policy statement, assist in the selection and evaluation of investment managers and other professionals, conduct periodic reviews of performance, allocations, and overall fund health, and ensure all investment activities align with applicable standards.
Thank you. Is there a motion in favor of resolution 2025-11, creation of a pension investment committee?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any board questions or comment?
No.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 8, agreement with Uwchlan Ambulance for the provision of emergency medical services and funding.
This is an agreement between Uwchlan Ambulance and the Township for emergency medical services. In it, Uwchlan Ambulance agrees to provide EMS coverage to the Township, and in exchange, the Township agrees to fund them using a formula. The formula is the average of the Township's percentage of call volume, total population served, and total assessed value of property covered by Uwchlan Ambulance, then applied to the budgeted shortfall. This is a 3-year agreement, which automatically renews for 1-year terms after the initial 3-year term. The agreement can be terminated by either party following at least 90 days written notice. And in the agreement, we agree to provide an operating payment and a capital contribution. In the event their operating payment exceeds the prior year by more than 10%, we have the ability of terminating the agreement or renegotiating. Funds provided by the Township have to be kept in a separate interest-bearing account and audited annually with a copy of that audit provided to the Township. The funds are restricted to being invested in the same instruments the Township is legally obligated to use. Another element to note in the agreement is Uwchlan Ambulance agrees to arrive on scene after being dispatched by Chester County 911 within 6 minutes, 90% of the time.
Okay, is there a motion to enter into an agreement with Uwchlan Ambulance for the provision of emergency medical services and funding?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any board question or comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 9, bid award for the 2025-2027 street sweeping.
With the help of E.B. Walsh, we were able to bid the Township street sweeping program and received 1 bid from Sweeping Corporation of America, LLC, in the amount of $17,999 per year for a 3-year term. This year, we budgeted $20,000. Sweeping Corporation of America performed our street sweeping last year, and one change we required in the bid was having an on-site supervisor at all times. And so we're recommending the bid be awarded to Sweeping Corporation of America in the amount of $17,999 per year for 3 years.
I'll move to award the bid for 2025-27 street sweeping as outlined by Mr. Cagle.
Second.
Is there any board question or comment?
No.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 10, bid award for repairs to storage building foundation.
Again, thanks to the help of E.B. Walsh, we were able to bid repairs to the lower road garage foundation and received a number of bids. We are recommending the award go to Mar Allen Concrete Products Incorporated in the amount of $59,738. We budgeted $70,000 for this project.
I'll move to award the bid for the repairs to the storage building foundation to Mar Allen Concrete Products, Inc.
I'll second.
Is there any board question or comment?
No.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 11, Calvary Chapel of Chester Springs, preliminary final land development plan submission.
Yes, we received the land development plan submission for Calvary Chapel for the expansion of the church and the parking area. We did send the plans out to our consultants for review, and we are anticipating that they will appear at the March Planning Commission meeting to discuss the plan. There is a copy of the plan on our website as well.
Great, thank you. Number 12, Rockwell Downingtown LLC, conditional use application submission with extension request.
On February 3rd, this year, Rockwell Downingtown LLC submitted a conditional use application and plan for the Siemens property, also known as Lionville Station Farm, to the township. Rockwell's required to submit this plan under the conditions outlined in the agreement of sale with the Downingtown Area School District. However, Rockwell also submitted a 30-day extension letter allowing the township 90 days to conduct the first hearing. Rockwell granted the extension in order for Rockwell and the township to continue to discuss and negotiate an alternative plan for 55-plus residential development on that property. Rockwell has indicated that they will continue granting extensions to conduct the first hearing based on the progress of discussions and negotiations concerning the 55-plus residential development. While the conditional use application and plan is an agenda item on tonight's Board of Supervisors meeting, this is a formality to acknowledge that the township has received the plan, and a hearing date is not recommended to be set due to the extension granted. No action needs to be taken by the township other than acknowledging receipt of the application, and subsequent applications provided by Rockwell will be acknowledged as agenda items in future months. We know many of our residents have a strong interest in what may happen with this property, and will continue to provide information as it becomes available, as well as details and opportunities to provide public input going forward, including we put the conditional use plan up on the website under where we usually post those things.
Great, thank you. Great, with that, I will move on to the announcements for this evening. All meetings will be held at the Township Building unless otherwise noted. February 13th, the Historical Commission meeting will be meeting at 7:30 p.m. at the Cadwalder House. February 17th is President's Day. As such, the township offices will be closed. On February 19th, the Zoning Hearing Board will be holding their reorganization and meeting at 7 p.m. On February 20th, the Environmental Advisory Council will be holding their reorganization and meeting at 7 p.m. On March 3rd, the Board of Supervisors will be meeting for their workshop at 12 p.m. Also on March 3rd, the Community Day Committee meeting will be held at 6 p.m. And then again on March 3rd, the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting will be held at 7 p.m. On March 5th, the Planning Commission will meet at 7 p.m. And on March 10th, the Board of Supervisors meeting will take place here at 7 p.m. With that, I will open up to the public for any comment. Do we have a sign-up sheet? There's no one signed up. Okay. Is there any public comment this evening? Seeing none, I will go ahead and ask if there's a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody. And we will hold our conditional use hearing in 2 minutes.